players out.
Caleb, you had a few attacking players out last game still listed. What's the status of Kevin Molino, Lucas, Derek, I think Eric Hurtado as well?
Yeah, so Kevin was sick, so he should be good to go this game. Obviously, most likely as we continue to build him up off the bench.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, he was sick. Eric Hurtado, obviously out last game. Probably will be tight for this game. But I need to talk to, again, in these windows, it's always, going to be essentially a game time decision, right?
Right.
Because we're still evaluating a lot of these guys. But he hurt his ankle on that play where he was in behind, got fouled, so he hurt his foot on that, so that's why he was out. So questionable still, game time decision for him. Lucas, progressing. Again, kind of game time decision, but making progress. Could be available. Who else? Derek?
Derek, yeah.
Derek was out. He had a tight hamstring last game, so he's another one. We've got another game, Philly as well, so a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would have more answers later today.
Yeah, no, that's all fair and good.
I miss anybody?
I'm sure there are others, but those were the ones I asked about.
Etienne was what?
Etienne had a tight hamstring last game, so wasn't available, and he'll be also, questionable for this game. Could be available, could not be available.
The one attacking player I wanted to ask about was Alex Matan's been on the bench most of this season, and you even played Mo Farsi over him, and just want to know, and you've said in the past, you're not going to give guys playing time unless they've earned it. What does he need to do to see more playing time?
Yeah, always my decisions are based on what I see in the training ground, every single day. And with Mo Farsi, we were in a position where we felt we wanted a guy that was going to defend really well on that side and make sure that we got some crosses, but also would be a good, honest defender on their left back who was getting forward quite a bit.
When you guys signed Alex, talk about him kind of being the guy behind Lucas, a guy who could help in the attack off the bench. Is it safe to say that you expected maybe some more by this stage, knowing he was still a project and you probably still have high hopes for him, but by this stage maybe expected a little more development?
I think you never know. Honestly, when you sign young players, you never know. There's not always a linear progression. Some guys develop a little quicker, sometimes guys develop a little slower. But again, I can only go on what I see every single day in training and games, and obviously all my decisions that I make based on who starts, who comes into the game, and really, again, what we need in the game. I think last year you saw he played a lot of games, actually. People probably forget that, but I think he started 9 games last year.
Correct.
So he had a good run of games. He played quite a bit on the left, played quite a bit as a 10. So this year we have a little bit more depth. When we have more options. And again, my decisions are always based on just what I see and what I feel, and I'll leave it at that.
When you look at this, obviously you're coming off getting a point on Saturday. You talk about the injured players. How much you throw guys out there has to do with, okay, we know we have this game back in conference, but we also know we have a big home game Saturday, and trying to maximize what you can get out of guys between these next 2 games in the short window.
Yeah, it's always the tricky part of these windows. It is a 3 and 9 though. So if you're going to have a compacted window, it's nice to have the 3 days in between each game. That certainly helps because you can prep on a match day +3, which means your guys are fully recovered. That gives you at least 1 day of prep, and then you're playing on the +4, which our guys should be fully recovered and ready to go. We do have to think about some guys who are still coming back in and you know, but the guys that have been playing should have no problem turning around and going again. But like always, there's going to be, you know, anywhere from 3 to 5 guys that you have to think about possibly rotating. But we approach every game, you know, with the mindset we want to win, and we put out a team to win. We put out a plan to win. You know, we have to remind ourselves we have 5 points in the last 3 games. 2 of those are on the road. So if you look at, we've gotten 3 results in a row, and we've taken 5 points in the last 3 games. So I think going into those 3 games, if you'd say we had 5 points, you'd be pretty pleased. Do you always want more? Yes. But when you look at who we've had out, you look at the road games that we're playing, you know, obviously the home game, Charlotte, you wanted 2 more points, right? And if you had 7, you'd be ecstatic. But we get the win on the road, Atlanta, and we get 2 draws, you know, with 2 road games. So I think our mindset is just let's take points from every game. Let's take points from every game, and it keeps momentum. That's 3 games unbeaten. I think the confidence slowly builds, and I think we show too that, you know, with a lot of guys out, that we can find ways to get points and claw and scrap and grind.
Toronto, right about where you guys are in the playoff hunt. Obviously, they too are waiting for their designated player to be able to step in. Do you see some similarities between kind of how your seasons have progressed, and what do you see when you look at that team? I know you've played them once this season, but kind of how they've evolved throughout the course of the first half of the year.
Yeah, I think they've settled in a little bit more the last several games. They've settled into a shape that I think they're pleased with. For the most part, you know, 4-4-2. Sometimes it looks like a diamond a little bit more with Pozuelo. You know, defensively they've pressed out of a diamond. And then recently they played Pozuelo on the right a little bit with again a free role to come inside and play narrow with Azorio central with Bradley. But they've for the most part settled into a shape and a rhythm. They've taken 2 results in a row with the Canadian Cup and obviously their league game versus Atlanta. So I think they're growing in confidence, and you know, they're getting results. So yeah, similar to us, I think we're growing in confidence, we're getting results. They have a few spokes in the wheel missing, we have a few missing. But I think we're growing into the season, and our mentality and our defending has been excellent these last 3 games. And so when we can build from a strong foundation of good defending and a good mentality, you know a Lucas, you know a Cucho, you know a Kevin Molino, you know a Derek and an Eric, and these guys coming into your team automatically gives you more attack.
If you didn't know it was Watsky's first MLS game the other day, you probably wouldn't have noticed it because he looked like he fit right in. What is it about him as a person, maybe his character, and also his skill set that allowed him to make such a good impact in that first game in his first start? Yeah,
not a surprise. You know, I tend to not want to play guys that are going to struggle. I tend to play guys that, you know, I know are going to do well. And I remind people in preseason he was starting almost every game in preseason, and I was very high on the kid. He's a true 6. You know, in a 3-man midfield, he's excellent in that role. He's just been behind a couple very good players in Artur when Artur was healthy, in Aiden Morris and James Igbekeme and Darlington Nagbe. So that's the main reason we had him playing games with Crew 2. We knew he would continue developing, getting games, getting confident, and that he would be ready to step in just like he did.
I'd just like to say Cucho, so I just want to ask you. So his timetable doesn't change though in terms of playing, does it? I mean, he's still, when the window opens, he's good.
Yep. Window opens, he's good, and yeah, he just didn't get his work permit. It's a couple days later than we thought. It's very normal. I think last update I got, he'll be here tomorrow, and the plan is to continue to have the press
No
conference.
alarm bells at all, but
The only thing is you just got to evaluate where he's at fitness-wise, but he should be available to factor in the Chicago game. You know, how many minutes? That'll depend on where his fitness is at, but you know, when he gets in, We'll evaluate him, we'll take him through all the baseline testing that we do with every player, and that'll allow us to kind of see where his fitness is at. But, you know, he's been on a holiday for sure, so it's gonna take some
Right.
time, you know, because this season ended, and obviously he took, you know, not long, took basically a week just to basically recharge, which is really important. So, you know, I don't think it's gonna take him too long to get up to speed. He's an attacking player, so that's nice. We can, in that Chicago game, use him wherever he's at. Obviously, it just depends.
What did he indicate to you when you saw him a week ago or whatever that was, about his fitness?
I think if you ask any attacking player, they'll say they're ready to go, you know, play 90, you know, so it's, you know, we'll obviously be smart with it, but, you know, it's a lot easier to integrate an attacking player than a defensive player, because you can, you know, bleed a guy in 20, 30, 45, you know, similar to how, you know, a little bit we've had to blend in some of our attacking guys back in, like a Lucas, like a Pedro.
Thanks, Caleb.